Oh dear, this is getting crazy. We had ourselves a video segment on TSN Insider Trading from yesterday about the Columbus Blue Jackets and what's going on with their team. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I saw this pop up in my timeline, I watched the clip, it was around 10 p.m. last night on Thursday, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make a video about this right now because everybody's gone to sleep, especially those on the East Coast. So instead, we pushed the video over to Friday morning, and I'll also leave a link in the description to this insider trading video if you want to listen to what Gino Reda, Chris Johnston, Pierre LeBrun, and Darren Dreger say in regards to the latest updates in the NHL. I think most of y'all are familiar with the TSN Insider Trading segment, but that's really all there is to it. If you wanted to read the description of this entire thing, it goes out there and reads this. TSN's hockey insiders discuss the London police investigation. They look at the NHL trade market, explain how the Blue Jackets are listening on Patrik Laine and Ivan Provorov, and they also have the latest on the struggling Kings, the outline of the next potential steps for the NHL Utah expansion, and the latest in Coyotes' work towards a new arena. Now, of course, you know from the title, you know from the thumbnail. Today we are talking about this piece of information. The Blue Jackets are listening on trade offers for Patrik Laine and Ivan Provorov. Now, I will say the thing does write out here that it's unlikely. Sure, they're trade pieces, but how likely is it they actually get moved? To help us out with our entire conversation and to go over the points made by TSN and the cast, there is an article published on ProHockeyRumors.com that summarizes everything pretty nicely, so big shout out over to Brendan McLean, who went out there and wrote this out yesterday. Take a look at the first paragraph. In today's issue of TSN Insider Trading, Darren Dreger reports the Blue Jackets are willing to listen to offers on forward Patrik Laine and defenseman Ivan Provorov. Making high-impact additions in the last 2 summers, it appears the Blue Jackets are at least willing to entertain the idea of a major sell-off. Now, this article does a very good job at explaining why this would work, why it would not work. Spoiler alert, at the end it says it's pretty, unlikely that the Blue Jackets would be able to make a trade. But, to put it into our own words here, Patrik Laine is a guy who, sorry for closing your face out there, Cam Robinson, but Patrik Laine is out here at 25 years old, 6'5", 216. Oh yeah, by the way, happy birthday to Wayne Gretzky. What a very random name to go out there and have on your website. But Patrik Laine, big dude, 216, right-handed guy, $8.7 million a year till the end of 25-26. He's got 2 more seasons after this one at this pretty high dollar amount, and even though there was a period in Patrik Laine's career where you could say that his entire profile was worth $8.7 million. In particular, when he was a 70-point guy with the Jets, getting 44 goals in 82 games as a 19-year-old in the National Hockey League. Even though that dollar amount may have been applicable back then, nowadays, Patrik Laine has not been that. Now, sure, he has been a good point producer the past few seasons. He has been a point per game. However, his goal-scoring touch has not really maxed out in the same way that people thought it could have. We thought he could become a 50-goal scorer. We thought he'd be able to do that in his sleep. It makes it so that this point production metric of 9 points in 18 games, on pace for about half a point a game in a full season, maybe is a little bit disappointing when you consider the cap hit here. Meanwhile, you have yourselves Ivan Provorov. Sorry, Cam Robinson, I'm closing your face again, but Provorov is in a really weird spot too, because just an off-season ago, he was acquired by the Columbus Blue Jackets from the Philadelphia Flyers in a 3-team trade. He's been a consistent 20-point defenseman in the NHL, with 1 season where he peaked at 41 points in 82 games played, and Provorov is also making a pretty beefy dollar amount. He's making $6.75 million a year, but because there's salary retained in the cap hit, he's only making $4.725 against the Blue Jackets cap. But Provorov is 27 years old. I don't think it would be fair to say that for Laine nor Provorov that they're particularly young guys, quote-unquote. I mean, Laine is 25. He was in the draft season after Provorov, but the fact that Provorov's birthday has already passed, I mean, it makes it look a little bit worse. But let's go back over onto the article and read what it is that McLean has to say in summarizing the TSN video. To say that trading away either player is complicated would be an understatement. The value that each player could bring to an organization is inherent. Although relatively streaky and bringing some health concerns to the table, Laine is one of the more well-respected goal scorers in the league, while Provorov has transitioned nicely to the Blue Jackets on pace to tie his career high in points with 41. 23 points in 47 games played with CBJ this year, definitely not bad. In Laine, although his goal-scoring ability is apparent, there have been questions surrounding his work ethic throughout his time with the Blue Jackets. Infamously, earlier in the season, Columbus Blue Jackets head coach Pascal Vincent made Laine a healthy scratch, reportedly creating a rift between Laine and the rookie head coach. Keeping this in mind, it could be a reasonable possibility that if Vincent is set to lead the Blue Jackets in the future, he may not envision Laine as part of that plan. And that was a talking point that we had earlier on in this season too, that there may have been some sort of a controversy due to some present issues that Laine has had that seem to have popped up throughout certain stints in his career, like especially towards the end of his Winnipeg Jets days. A lot of people were harping on Patrik Laine. I think there was like a Peg City hockey video every few weeks just kind of going over the situation, and it was really ugly in Winnipeg. Meanwhile, you have Provorov, who is much more known for his defensive attributes rather than his offense, a regular member of the top PK unit for both CBJ and Philadelphia, although Provorov's physical play has decreased over the last handful of years. Now, when it comes to the salary, he is on that 4.725 AAV on the Blue Jackets cap, but at the end of the day, given that both players are signed beyond the season to relatively large sums of money, it is unlikely that the Blue Jackets will be able to find a trading partner until the draft or the opening day of free agency next summer. Nevertheless, with plenty of competitive teams looking to make a significant upgrade in a wide-open playoff race, Laine and Provorov could quickly become some of the bigger names on the trade market leading up to the deadline. And that is essentially the update that was given out here by TSN and the folks over. I'll leave a link in the description to this video as well as this article, and I'll also leave a third link in the description to the TSN Reddit post that was made on the CBJ sub. These guys, I wanted to get some perspectives out there from Columbus fans themselves as to what they're feeling in regards to this. Non-Transferable Ape talks about the irony of how the Blue Jackets traded away a first-round pick for Provorov in a super deep draft only to have him play for you less than a year. Buy high and sell low. Now, what they're referring to is the first-round pick that the Blue Jackets sent over to Philadelphia to get Provorov in the first place. It ended up being Oliver Bonk, and that is pretty good. Just saying. Provorov was a mistake, yeah. Fabresk goes out there and replies, "I'm not even sure why we needed him. Werenski operates pretty much the exact same role as he does, and better. I guess it was maybe to cover Z's injury problems?" And maybe that is the answer here. At this point, Jarmo Kekalainen needs to go before he does further irreparable damage to the franchise in a desperate move to save his own behind. Yikes, that is harsh in terms of the assessment here, but if he goes out there and makes this trade before getting canned, then hey, let all hell break loose, right? A couple of weeks ago, this fanbase was crying and beside themselves over the thought of trading Elvis because he likes Columbus and wants to be here. Now you all want to trade Boone Jenner. What happened to wanting to keep players who want to be here? I swear, this fanbase is crazy. I still believe we're lucky to have Laine. It'd be stupid to trade him while his value is his lowest. If Laine gets traded, I won't renew my season tickets. And finally, to end off this video, let's go over one more comment here. I'm extremely unhappy that it's looking like this front office is going to stay in place if they're dictating these decisions. That said, we're getting ripped off with Provorov, but he hasn't fit in our system. At this point, we should drop Boone Jenner. We're starting to figure out a system without him while he was out. So, at the end of the day, this seems to be the update. Two guys that are pretty expensive and relatively good NHL players could be tested on the market. Is it likely they get traded? Probably not, but the fact is the Blue Jackets are actually listening, and they're not just playing the telephone game saying, hey, oh, you want to trade for that guy? Nope, sorry, and then hanging up the phone. No, they're actually talking about it and getting conversations going. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to whether or not you think Patrik Laine and or Ivan Provorov will get traded by the Blue Jackets before the free agency period of 2024 opens up. That's around July 1st. That's in the middle of the year. We'll see whether or not this actually does go down this way. But for now, what are your thoughts? What's the trade price for these guys? Where do they go? If you're a fan of a team that's not Columbus, do you want Laine or Provorov for your squad? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Article, video, and Reddit post will all be linked in the description. I hope you enjoyed this Vicious 99, and bye.